to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get lights of white? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your nose? Why,
To one and all, my name is Gonese Comfort, and with me here is a painting entitled Neo-Independence, in brackets, the dawn of a new era. The term Neo-Independence, the artist believes he has coined a new term or contributed a new term to the history lexicon. The artist tries to portray the new kind of independence that is required. And when we mean neo-independence, it's just simply a new kind of freedom. It could be positive, it could be negative, we don't know. There are certain elements heralded on our flag that the artist thinks are of separatist orientations and are rather retrogressive. So I will take you through the painting, some of the elements heralded by the artist, and what the artist was trying to portray throughout the painting. We will start from the bottom, trying to interpret the painting and what the artist was thinking. The black fimbriated white triangle is said to represent peace. But to the artist, it is a system that we inherited that is piercing the black line into two, such that we have an upper class and a lower class. Hence, a separatist design. And if this design is representing our way of thinking, it means we are of a separatist mentality. The artist has portrayed the separatist ideology embedded in the flag by differentiating the hues. And we will interpret the colors from a separatist viewpoint. The green, which is the healthy green, representing a well-nourished plant. This green connotes the low-density suburbs, the beautiful places where you find well-manicured lawns and shrubs. While the pale green for the lower class are those polluted environments where you don't get electricity, you don't get clean water. Places like the ruistic rocky areas, places like the ghetto, Matapi. And then the yellow, which is for the upper class, which is quite rich. The flag, it is said to stand for mineral wealth. And the mineral wealth for the upper class are the diamonds, the US dollars, the gold. While the wealth for the lower class is in terms of bearer checks and bond notes. When we go to the red, which is said to stand for blood that was spilled, the light red, the red for the upper class is light in color. Scientifically, light red blood is oxygenated blood, implying it's healthy blood, well-nourished blood. And the red for the lower class is dark in color, because it is the poor man who often burns calories through hard work. And always, it is almost always their blood is ever deoxygenated. Hence, the artist tries to portray this by darkening the red. But however, under the separatist mentality, we have the gold. But before we talk about the gold, we will talk about the bird. Whatever the bird stands for, if it stands for the spirit of Zimbabwe, then it is facing the wrong side, because the colors are behind the bird. Secondly, the bird has no sight, because it lacks the spark of life, the small dot that suggests vision. The idea of looking back, or the idea where the bird was placed, or how it was placed, whether consciously or subconsciously, but the artist thinks that we cannot hope by looking back, but we hope by looking into the future. And if it's the spirit of Zimbabwe that protects us, then it's certainly protecting something else other than its people, because in Shona we would say Nzimu yakafuratira. Now back to the gold. Underneath the separatist mentality, we have the gold, and this gold is not representing the physical gold only. It's representing gold in terms of resources, and the most important resource being the human resource. The clay pots are representing tradition, and the baby is representing a new dispensation, a new kind of thinking. And in this new kind of thinking, if you notice, the roots are going into the sense organs, implying that we have learnt and we are taking and refining from the old system that is succumbing to the new system. The upper clay pot is representing food, representing labor, hard work. You can never have a harvest without work. You can never harvest without working. So we're taking principles of hard work. The new system is taking principles of hard work. It's taking and propagating the essence of our culture and tradition. This is the clay pot of milk and honey. Zimbabwe is a country that flows with milk and honey, and we are also using that. So the new system is also will also take from the resources for development. This is just amongst other systems that are going to come. So there is continuity in terms of change. So change, this germinating seed is representing continued change that we have to accept. The set of colors by the man's elbow are a representation, not necessarily of what our flag should look like, but the artist is trying to say, let's come up with a new way of thinking. A new way, because development cannot come without, just because we have said so. It comes by changing our way of thinking. The circle, the black circle, in this instance is representing the black community. And the black circle in itself and the human being, the circle and the human being of consanguineous relations. Nature in itself has the circle. The earth comes from the concept of a circle. The moon, the sun, comes from the concept of a circle. And traditionally, we have our traditional huts, which is the most common building in Zimbabwe. It comes from the concept of a circle. As Africans, when it was feeding time, we would place the meal at the center and create a circle. When we are harvesting our maize in stacks, we create the concept of a circle. When we want to show love and affection to someone, we create a circle around them. So the African or the Zimbabwean by nature, it should be represented by the circle. The circle also represents balance. It also represents justice. The black community in themselves, or the black men in themselves, are by nature Cantinians. Like we draw our inspiration from Cantinian philosophy, which has to do with universal moral law. Now the star, as you notice, it's a 5-pointed star, and each point of the star is touching the circumference of the circle, of the black circle, implying that whatever the star stands for is equally distributed between and amongst the tribes within the nation of Zimbabwe. And the bird is facing, or at the center of the design, and facing ahead. On the flag as it is originally, it's facing back, because our reading orientation is from left to right. So we would imply that, it would imply that if I have a sentence, John is, if the bird is